So in my video talking about the Imperium of Man, I went through great pains to explain that the Imperium is an intolerant theocracy of zealously xenophobic militant nepo babies. They hate everything that is not human enough. But what does enough mean?
That are alive coming with me.
ZX Spider-Man Commodore 128 and 64. I hit the floor, I hit the shore. Got gaming skills from days of yore. I close the deck, computer rolls, play until my hands are sore. Hit the cut.
Welcome to Beefsnake Nerdcast. I am your host, Sergeant Bolter. So let's get right into it. The Imperium of Man does not like mutants, aliens, or anything else that looks at them funny, including themselves. But when the Emperor of Mankind, someone who is a whole thing I cannot get into here, was rediscovering lost human colonies at the point of a big, stupid, flaming sword, occasionally he found sorta humans. Eventually these weirdos were called Abhumans, and were considered close enough. One of the strains of Abhumans were the Ratlings. Scientific designation Homo sapien minimus. Ratlings look just like you or me, but they stand way shorter and have big furry feet. This should sound familiar to fantasy nerds. Unlike their Ogryn buddies, though, Ratlings are fully capable and autonomous in adulthood, and because of this, Ratlings are granted full citizenship by the Imperium. Once more for the ones in the back, Ratlings are granted full Imperium citizenship, meaning they can live the same utterly miserable lives as anyone else, with discrimination added on. Oh boy. All Abhumans admittedly face discrimination. I mean, just look at where they live. But Ratlings unfortunately have a reputation that doesn't make them too many friends. The average words to sum up Ratlings are dirty, rotten, cheatin', lion, scoundrel. And those are the polite ones. Ratlings, being smaller, weaker, more puntable forms of human, survive by being clever, resourceful, and having keen survival instincts, meaning they will cheat you at cards, rob you blind, and get out of dodge before the other shoe drops. And they're good at it. This is also a rather funny way that they curb the hatred that they can run into on a daily basis. Think of it. If you're shit-talking a table full of Ratlings at a bar with the attitude of, try it, short stuff, you might come home to an empty hab unit with, okay, dumbass, spray painted on your floor. I mean, what are you gonna do? Tell the Arbites that you got robbed by Ratlings? Likely story. Get back to work, citizen. The point is, Ratlings fight dirty and they stay alive, which is exactly their job in the Guard. That's right, the Imperial Guard, the standing army of the Imperium of Man, has Ratlings. Okay, technically the Militarum Auxilia, which is a special division composed of Abhumans, has Ratlings. This is so the average soldier doesn't have to think about them too often. Segregation is alive and well in the Imperium. Yet another reason why it sucks. But if Ratlings are so dodgy, why would you ever want them in the Astra Militarum? Short answer? They're really useful. For starters, Ratlings make the best food. They are always hungry and can turn field rations into at least a 2-star meal with some borrowed ingredients. They can also get you just about anything you want out in the field. Hurting for a cigar? Got a sweet tooth and want some chocolate? Last battle was a bit rough and need a bottle of Amsec? If you got a Ratling in your camp, you've got an in to the widest black market in the Imperium. Given enough time and the right compensation, they'll hook you up with anything you need. Sure, it's technically contraband, but are you really going to tell the commissar? Now, some of you more strategic-minded folks out there might be asking, but Bolter, what do Ratlings do for the military effort? Great question. As I mentioned before, Ratlings are clever, sneaky, and resourceful, meaning they serve well in specialist roles. 3 in particular: fixers, trailblazers, and long shooters. Fixers are the front men of the Ratlings when dealing with the taller folks, or commanding officers. Ratlings walk a fine line between tolerable skill and outright insubordination, and they know it. That's where a fixer comes in. Through half-truths, the right word put in at the right time, and sheer force of character, fixers keep Ratlings out of trouble in both ways. Fixers know what they can and cannot get away with, and how to deter, dissuade, and discourage nosy officers. Fixers are the glue that keep the Ratlings in the Imperium. They know the Imperial Guard need the Ratlings, while also holding unshakable loyalty to their fellows. They will swear up and down that, "No, sir, none of my boys would ever make off with a plasma gun, sir. Emperor as my witness, sir." Then browbeat the little shit that did make off with said plasma gun and make sure he finds a fence for it. Fast. Militarum quartermasters hate these little guys. Next, we got the Trailblazers. Using their size, stealth, and drive to not get murdered by orcs, Ratling Trailblazers are superb scouts and pathfinders. No, not those pathfinders. Anyway, be it squeezing through pipes in urban terrain, moving through enemy territory in dense jungle, or finding a path for the tank line in a rocky hellscape, a Trailblazer will get you where you need to go and get you there safely. That's mostly because their hide is on the line too. If they lead their forces into an ambush and their entire squad gets killed, they're screwed. After all, he's just a little guy. Trailblazers also excel at infiltration and sabotage. Ratlings generally tend to be overlooked. What happens if you give them stealth gear and a camo cloak? Good luck finding them in a camp. And wouldn't it just suck for the other guy if, say, their food happens to be poisoned, their bunks were booby-trapped, and their tanks just won't start? Might really bum them out when the main force gets there. Finally, we have the one Ratlings are known for, the long shooters. Ratlings have excellent eyesight. Hand them a sniper rifle, and even the marksmen of the guard will gawk at the shots they can put downrange. It's suspected that this is because Ratlings are very superstitious in general, and they clean and maintain their equipment with vigor. This keeps the machine spirit, the soul in every machine in 40k, of their sniper rifle happy and therefore accurate. Now, sniping is a bit of a faux pas in certain guard regiments, mostly because its officers find it dishonest, cowardly, or unsportsmanlike, and other great terms to get guardsmen killed. Such terms already apply to the Ratlings, and the generals don't need to mention them that often in the paperwork. So, officially, Ratling longshooters are tolerated, as they are invaluable when used effectively, and every guardsman, whether they say it or not, is thankful to have such skilled sharpshooters taking down key targets and giving them cover fire on the field. As far as Abhumans go in the Imperium of Man, Ratlings have it pretty good. Sure, they face as much hate as anybody else who doesn't fit the mold, but for Ratlings it's more of a conversation and less of a lynch mob. They have a culture that is considered useful, if sketchy as hell, a community that will look after them and call them out on their nonsense, and a skill set that is genuinely invaluable to the Imperium at large. So hey, they're at least exploited on their terms. It could be worse. They could be Ogren. So when the sergeant announces that you're getting some Ratling auxiliary support and these little guys come trundling into camp, remember, lock up your valuables, never bet anything you want to keep, and mind your manners, or you might find your ammo half empty during the next orc charge. Thank you for tuning into Beef Snake Nerdcast. I've been Sergeant Bolter. You can like and subscribe below if you like this walkabout. My Twitter, Insta, Bluesky, and Facebook are there too. Avagander. Tune in next time when we look at those drongos from Battletech, Clan Blood Spirit. Thank you kindly, and have a good day.